Hi,
Hi.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing. How are you?
We're okay. So I'm Grace Barrett. I'm a junior at Wadsworth.
I'm Alex. I'm a sophomore at Wadsworth.
So do you want to introduce yourself, your name, and everything?
Yeah, I'm Kaylee. I'm a senior at MSU.
Great. So you're a senior, you said. So how are you doing after everything that happened? Like, are you doing okay?
Like honestly, no. It's really hard and it's harder to see. I don't know why, and I feel like it's selfish to say this, but it's really hard to see people jump back into like what was normal before because it's like how
Mhm.
are you able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So would you be comfortable like recalling your experience on that day and like what happened?
Yeah. So Monday, I'd woken up sick, and so like I was at work. I got sent home from work, and then later on, I went to urgent care, and when I was leaving, so the union, I'm a vegetarian. They have really, really good vegan nuggets. So when I was leaving urgent care, I was like, oh, like I could really go for some like vegan chicken right now. And
Mhm.
I was on my way there, and then I kind of had a moment. I was like halfway there, and I was like, no, I don't feel good. Like I don't know if I have anything. I need to go home. So I turned around, and within a cut like 2 minutes of me getting back into my apartment and setting my stuff down, I got the email. um, and like we've gotten emails like that before about things happening in like the downtown bar area. So like my first instinct was like, what? Like no, like this probably isn't like as serious just because like we'll hear this a lot and nothing ever comes of it. And then my roommate had come home like 10 minutes later and she was like, turn off all the lights. We need to go barricade the door. And um I was like, oh, so this is a big deal. And that we were put in like the lockdown, basically, like everyone had to stay in place. And it was just my roommate and I sitting in my room in complete black, like darkness for 4 hours. And I downloaded the police scanner app, and there's a lot of like different types of calls coming in. So we didn't know like what was really happening. So like every time that we heard that someone was coming closer to us, it's like we're texting our family and we're like, listen, if anything happens. And our apartment, you don't need a key to get into the building. So we were like, if anyone knows that, and like we didn't know if this was a student or not,
Mhm.
um, this we're done for. Like you can easily shoot through a door and shoot through windows. Um, and I'd found out that I had friends in the union like mid all of it happening, which was terrifying. I when I found out, I literally like screamed bloody murder. And she's like, "What is going on with you?" And it's like I am scared. I don't know. It was very, very scary.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you had to experience that.
So like, what were you told to do? Like, did MSU give you instructions?
They said just wherever you were, stay. Like, don't leave. I actually, like, during that point, I saw someone, it was like some random guy walking outside of my apartment. And that was like, I was like, oh my God, this is him. And we're done for. Cause I couldn't even imagine why anyone would leave the house during something like that.
Yeah, definitely. So, what kind of assistance has been given to you guys, like the students of MSU, since the incident has happened?
We've had, I already see someone through our like it's like CAPS, like counseling and psychiatric services, but they've opened that up and had counselors go in person to different locations. We've had a lot of people bring therapy dogs, and I think they're still doing that, like at um, our libraries and everything. People like bringing in animals, and I know a lot of this isn't really MSU, but a lot of like local businesses. Like I went to a cat cafe because they were offering
Hmm.
free to any MSU student, and I know there's a lot of different places who are doing a lot to try and be helpful to the students. But I think MSU is doing their best, but I don't think anything will ever be enough. So,
Yeah.
So like, what were the next steps after what happened? Like, when were you expected to go back to class?
originally we were only going to have the day after off, and then it was extended until the Thursday, and then classes started back up this Monday.
Wow. Do you think that was like a good amount of time, or do you think you should have had more?
I think we should have had way longer. I know a girl who went to Oxford, and she'd said like we got 6 weeks off when our school shooting happened, and it's like I understand there are people that want to get back, and like it's more beneficial for some people to get back into like a normal routine and it helps them, but I think it's a lot harder for people who aren't ready to go back to have to be forced to. It's hard just walking by the buildings and walking by the memorial sites for a lot of people. And I mean, people have to take these ways to classes every day. And it's like when we can walk by and it's fixed now, but like when we can see broken windows from where people had to jump out of it, like it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Do you feel like you were like, for people who weren't necessarily ready to go back, do you feel like you guys were kind of like rushed back in it?
Yeah, 100%. I don't understand why. I mean, it wasn't even a full week past when kids died where we had to be back in classrooms, like going hour wise, I guess. It wasn't. And like, I know by Monday, funerals had just started for the kids. And it's like, not every parent has even had the chance to bury their child yet. And we're supposed to be back in a classroom.
Yeah, definitely.
Have teachers been like accommodating? Like, have they been understanding of people who are like struggling to go back?
Yeah, a lot of them have. I know, like my roommate, she was supposed to have an exam the last Tuesday, and her professor had changed it to where like if you turn it in by the end of the month, you're gonna get 100%. And I'm not doing any strict grading. A lot of like hybrid classes have said you don't ever have to come back, just stay online. Like even fully in-person classes, it said you can come if you want, but everything's going to be posted. So it's nice to I mean, it's like they went through something too, so they're doing what's best for themselves and trying to think of what's best for their students.
Yeah. So, do you think that people should be doing things differently to prevent instances like this from happening again?
I mean, I think it's all in the hands of the government, and I know like our governor is, she's trying and she has been to push for stricter gun control, but at the end of the day, like so many more kids and so many more people are going to have to die. And I always hear like, oh, well, it was just like X amount of people that were shot. And it's like, no, like these are all people. And I always wonder, like, what is it going to take? Is it going to take one of the president's children dying in the hands of gun violence for them to do something? Like how many people have to have their worlds completely shifted for there to be real change?
Yeah, definitely.
So before February 13th, did you ever think you would be in a situation like this?
No. I've always felt really safe at MSU. It's like you hear about them all the time, but you never really think it's going to be your school. I was like notorious. Since freshman year, I've always been the roommate that like never locked the door and like would go out for walks randomly like 1 o'clock in the morning just for fun. I've never had an issue with feeling unsafe here.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the way that the media is kind of covering this instance? Do you think that there should be more coverage, less? Do you feel like it's like a proper amount of coverage?
I think we've already become a forgotten story where like in the first 2 days it was all I have an app on my phone that like notifies me of like big news and everything, and it was just Michigan State, Michigan State, Michigan State, and I don't see that anymore. And it's hard to see that we're like every other school and like every other place where this happens, we were a headline while it was hot, and now we're forgotten about, and everyone else gets to go on with their lives while there's 39,000 students here. This is our everyday. Like we don't get the luxury of having it just be a headline and something to forget about.
Yeah, definitely.
So has MSU changed anything related to like safety in response to this? Like, have they done anything to make students feel safer?
I mean, they have like more campus police presence. That's kind of it.
Have you noticed like just a change in like MSU in general, like since this has happened?
Big time. It's really weird. Like, I think it does. Like, I mean, MSU is my home, and everyone who goes here says that. Like, we don't come here for nothing. Like, we all feel a collective sense of belonging here, and it's like walking through campus. There used to always be like just a sense of comfort and warmth, and it's gone. And I mean, every student that you look at, no one looks the same. Like, no one carries themselves in the same manner. And like, I've seen, there was a student-led vigil the other night, and when we were leaving, there was like an ambulance that drove by, and I've never seen a collective like freeze and people where everyone was just like, oh my God, like for all of us, police sirens are never going to sound the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or like anything that we didn't talk about yet that you want to put forth?
I guess just it's important to push for gun control, and I think it's hard when it doesn't, you hear about it, but it doesn't necessarily resonate. Like, I didn't know exactly what it would be like to live through until I had to live through it, and there's no just, oh, we need more guns to make this better, and it's not that simple. And I think while we're all young, like, we're the next voice, and it's like to learn about this now and to do your best to advocate for it now will help in the long run.
Yeah. Well, we definitely agree. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry I was like late.
No,
It's
no
okay.
worries whatsoever. Yeah. Thank you so much.